morning. I hope you all slept well last night. I did not. I was very nervous for this. But today, thanks. Today I'll be talking about mapping the space of minds, a multidimensional framework for diverse intelligence. I'm a PhD candidate at the Free University of Brussels in Belgium, and I've just completed my second year. I'm going into my third, and hopefully it's my last, but we will see. And as many of you may remember, I presented in Kiruna for SOCIA about 2 years ago. That's me up there. That's Kelly. I thought that my dissertation was going to be about how to prepare for contact with non-human intelligence. That was the initial thought. But as PhDs work, it changes based on the things that you learn over the years. So my project has kind of warped a bit, and I realized that to answer how to prepare for the discovery of non-human intelligence, I had to first understand what intelligence is, what non-human intelligence could possibly be, and so I started asking the question of what are the major dimensions along which minds can vary within the universe? So this is what I'll be talking to you about today. So I began looking at the quartet of intelligence. So between human, animal, obviously humans are animal, but we have different ways of quantifying intelligence in humans than in other animals. Artificial intelligence and hypothetical extraterrestrial intelligence. And today my talk is about how artificial intelligence and the future of artificial intelligence can inform us a little bit about the potentials for extraterrestrial intelligence. And just a note, I have a chapter. This presentation is written, or it's based on a chapter that is forthcoming called Artificial Intelligence and SETI, Expanding the Space of Possible Minds. It's in an edited volume that should be coming out later this year. So, I know this looks like a lot. We're not going to go too much in detail yet, but based off of all of the work that I've read, I did a big literature review on how people within the study of artificial intelligence and future artificial intelligence, like AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, and ASI, artificial superintelligence, how they interpret AI and the possibilities for AI. And I narrowed over 100 papers down to these dimensions, and unfortunately I don't have enough time today to go over how I got to all of it, but if you're interested, it's all in my paper. I use specifically a few notable models. First is Good's 1966 recursive intelligence or intelligence explosion model, Nick Bostrom's superintelligence models, he has a bunch, and Drexler's model for distributed superintelligence. So I will be taking you through some of these dimensions and what I've noticed through my literature review of these papers, and going over how they could possibly apply to extraterrestrial intelligence. So first I'm going to talk to you about the architecture of a mind. This refers to the internal structure of the system's cognition. So first we have unified minds. That would be like us, have a central nervous system. And we have modular minds. That could be something more like an octopus. An octopus has neurons in its arms and can work separately, but ultimately have a unified goal within altogether. The arms work for the rest of the body. And then a collection. Then we have embodiment. So this tracks the degree and form of the system's world integration. So we have local, that could be a system confined to limited hardware. It's stuck in one place like a virtual being. Then we have distributed, which is more like a network, and then embedded, which is more like us. Reality, like in reality in the physical world, able to manipulate things. Also us, but also robotics. And then we have agency. So this measures how independently an intelligence can initiate and sustain action. So versus tool, so restricted to specific tasks and only act when prompted. This is the level of AI that we currently have. A partner, so is capable of initiating plans but within specific domains. And then sovereign, like us. We are open-ended and can explore. Moving on to values. So we have goals. So this defines how a system's internal representations of desired states are shaped. We have AI with single goals, like the one that you'll see at the end I used to generate a QR code for my paper. That is a single goal AI. Then we have multi-goal. Both of these are optimizers for their goals. And multi can balance several criteria and trade off between what's more important. Then we have satisficer, which I think Carlos had talked about in his talk, which is more of just a being that is good with good enough, not an optimizer. And then we have explorers, which I would say humans kind of. I mean, some of us are satisficers, but I would categorize us more as explorers. Alignment is a really big one for AI. So we have narrow. This is when an AI has the values of its designers or to its owners or a specific group of people, an institution. Then we have to humans. This is a difficult one because obviously humans have a range of different values. So this system can trade off and try to balance between them. And then we have future beings. So this is an AI that's aligned to the possible future beings and may make sacrifices now to ensure longevity of humans. And then completely non-moral. This is what we are absolutely most afraid of. Who knows what could go wrong in here? I think a lot of us know, but don't want to think about it. Then we have sociality. So this tracks an intelligence relational orientation to other agents. And first we have asocial. So this kind of AI would treat others as tools for information and not actually want to partner with them, just use them for information and then go and do its own thing. And we have a cooperative system, which engages with humans. We have obviously a manipulative system, and a member of society. This one is, I think, what we normally would hope for an AI. The future of AI is for it to share our values and behave as similar to a human as possible. And then now on to perspective. So there's 3 domains in perspective. The first one is temporality. This one Bostrom goes over a lot, and I find it super fascinating. But it outlines an intelligence's time scale, sensitivity, and resulting planning horizon. So we have short, which is also most AIs today. It prioritizes immediate results over periods of seconds to days. And we have mixed, which is more of human thinking, which is a bit of short and a bit of long-term, seconds, days, months, years, decades, all of that would be in mixed. And we have long-term, which is more thinking over centuries and millennia for planning. And then we have a system that thinks in near timeless, which is hard for us to conceptualize, but is theoretically possible. Then we have epistemics, so this tracks an intelligence's relationships to its own beliefs. I'm running low on time, so so we have low update. That just means that when it finds new information, it doesn't incorporate it into its worldview. We have calibrated. This is a system that does update its model according to new information. Exploratory searches for those that new information, and deceptive uses any information against others. Selfhood, so we have AI systems with absolutely no selfhood, but we do have also, some could argue this, Claude has minimal selfhood, which is kind of scary. I don't know about some other ones, but I've heard some conversations with Claude and Dario that have kind of freaked me out. Then we have rich, which would be us, and also plural. Okay, I just want to show you what this would look like. This is human mapped on my framework. I'm not going to go over it too much, again, because I'm running on time, but I'm going to show you between, this is a human, this is where I plotted Claude, this is an octopus, and whole ant colonies, not an individual, but they work as a hive mind, and then just for fun, how mine does it. Okay, and there are a few limitations, obviously, for using AI to interpret extraterrestrial intelligence. And first is that AI's a limited model. It represents a narrow slice of the full range of possible minds, obviously. It lacks history, so AI lacks the evolutionary and ecological history that likely will shape an extraterrestrial intelligence. And then anthropocentrism, so AI is built on human-generated data and human-designed systems. So, out of this framework, I found that there's still a lot missing when we're applying it to extraterrestrial intelligence. I'm just going to go over some of those things. So first is origins. The trophic level of whatever we may be encountering, I think, would have an effect on the type of intelligence that develops in whatever we may encounter. And so, is it a producer? Is it a predator? Is it a harvester, a scavenger? Those things, or more, these are just some possibilities. That will affect how we interpret them and how we detect them. And how we hopefully interact with them, or not, we'll see. Sensory unwells, so do they have many senses, which is most likely, but are they have one that is stronger than others? Replication, are they sexual beings, asexual? Manufacture, this is a post-biological kind of extraterrestrial intelligence. And then physicality, so we have the substrate. Are they carbon or non-carbon biological based? Are they non-biological based completely? That's also like a post-biological civilization. Or are they something completely different and exotic, like plasma or photonic? Civilizational scale, so are they bound to their planet? Are they galactic, etc.? Ecological strategy, are they adapters, harvesters, geoengineers? Their values, so their drive, their evolutionary drive, are they expansionists, are they optimizing? Their moral framework, are they altruistic? Are they completely indifferent? Are they malevolent or reciprocal? And then communication style, so do they use embodied language? Embodied, like using their body to communicate, or language, symbolic or completely silent in some way that cannot be detectable at all. So all of these things influence the way that we attempt to detect ETI within the study community. And so this is it for now. This list should be bigger. I know that there's a lot more. And this is the QR code that I told you that my AI generated. If you have any other thoughts and anything that you think that I missed, which I know I definitely did, you can scan this and submit it to me in a form so that I can keep it long term, and if I use it in my thesis, you will be credited. Don't worry. Yeah. And yeah, obviously I'm able to take some questions, and here is the bibliography of some of the work that I used.